comments will be helpful for all of you. So we're gonna hear you all perform and just kind of work through your pieces. But at the same time, I think it's important for all of us to have a discussion about why we're studying music. So let's begin actually with just a little introduction of everybody. And if you want to unmute yourself, let's begin with Vera. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and where are you right now? Are you in Vancouver? Are you in Toronto?
I'm
Edmonton?
in Waterloo,
Sorry, where are you?
Waterloo, Ontario.
Waterloo. Wonderful. Okay. And how long have you been playing piano for?
5 years.
Okay. And what do you like about playing the piano, studying the piano?
Uh, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what are some of your goals that you have with your music studies?
Uh, Passing my exams with higher marks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's often a goal for a lot of students. Okay, great. And Maria, how about you? Where are you? Where are you located?
Uh, I can't really hear you. You're really quiet. Like,
Where are you located, Maria?
oh, sorry.
Surrey. Okay. And how long have you been taking piano for?
Around 8 years, I think.
Okay, great. And what do you like most about studying music?
I, I don't know. It's just really fun.
It's really fun. Okay. And Elaine, are you there? We see a
Hi.
lot of your keyboard.
Yeah, I don't know where to put it elsewhere.
Well, you can see on Vera and Maria and Grace's, they've put it off to the side of the piano. So you should, if you can put your device to the side, that allows us to see you.
Okay,
So
I'll,
yeah.
I'll try to move it. I can move it while you are asking the other people.
Okay, so we'll just put you on mute for a second then, so that you're not your sound. There we go. So Grace, how are you today?
Doing well, how are you?
Good. Where are you located?
Surrey, BC.
Surrey as well. Okay. And what is it that you like about studying music?
Um, I like learning new pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of like a coping mechanism if I'm stressed.
Mm-hmm. Are there any goals that you have for music study?
Um, to pass grade 8 and potentially level 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. Yeah, Elaine, if you want to just if you can push your device a little bit further away from the piano, it's also better. You don't need to be so close to the instrument. The further away you are, generally, the better it's going to be.
I feel like if I put it somewhere else, it's not going to be able to see the computer. I mean, the keyboard.
Yeah, if you're far enough away from the piano, we can see everything. So, and where are you, Elaine?
I'm in Delta.
Delta. Okay, yeah, in BC too. And what is it that you enjoy about studying music?
I guess it's just nice to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. You know, for me and my students, one of the things that music is, it's an opportunity for us to learn. It's an opportunity to grow and get better. Okay, and what we work at every single day in our practice is believe it's not about getting high marks. That's not our focal point, and I know that you've all kind of mentioned that in passing exams. We don't worry about that, believe it or not. In fact, we know we're going to pass our exams. All of my students know And you know why they know? Because that's all, that's their goal. They're just working about getting better. And when you get better, you're going to always do well. Um, and one of the things for them that's really important is to be inspired by the music as well. It's not about just learning pieces to pass an exam. It's about learning pieces that will challenge them to acquire some new skills, to be able to do some new things. And all of my students, they have this, they've learned that the most important thing is that when they go to sleep at night, they have to go to sleep at night knowing that they're better at what they're doing, not just at piano, but everything. Their schoolwork, their math, maybe they're in dance, maybe they're in basketball, but everything that they are involved in, when they go to sleep at night, that they are better. And so music is just one of those aspects that helps them to understand how to do improvements. Okay? Um, and it's really, really important for all of us to look at music that way. Most of us, most students that I teach are not going to become musicians. But every student I teach is going to become or has the potential to become a great human being. And this is what drives them because they know that if they can do music well, that they're going to have greatness in other areas as well. Okay, whether it's school, whether it's sports. I have a number of students who have come back from university now. It's in the university. And one of them sent me a link last night and he said, I just published my first composition. And that was really cool. And then I had another student who came back and she said, I graduated. I got my bachelor's in science now. And I said, congratulations. And she said, all the times that you spent working with me on my practicing really taught me how to study and manage my time and teach me to deal with some very challenging moments. And I said, well, that's really wonderful to hear. I'm so glad that you're able to use your music studies and use it to relate to what you're doing now. And she said, I've even gone to some concerts. And I was like, great, because she's going to school at U of, well, she went to school at U of T. And she's like, I didn't go to any concerts this year, but in the past years, I was able to go to the Toronto Symphony and watch a couple concerts. And it was really enjoyable to hear some of the pieces that we studied in history being performed by the orchestra. And I said, well, that's really wonderful. And she's like, I knew the pieces. My friends didn't know the pieces, but I'm listening to a piece and I said, I remember you talking about certain ideas. And so that's what music does. It's a way to create memories, obviously, but really teaches us all these non-musical things like managing our time and developing our self-esteem and study habits and those sorts of skills. So the big thing for all of you is to look at music and think about how music can help you grow as human beings. How does it make you better every single day? Okay? Don't put the mark for an exam as the first thing on the list. That should be at the bottom of the list. Because I can promise you this, a few months after you've taken your exam, you won't even remember your grade. You won't remember your mark. You know why? Because you've moved on to the next level. You're starting to learn new pieces. So the mark doesn't matter. And I can guarantee you this, down the road when you finish high school or you're in university, you won't even care about that mark anymore. But what you'll remember are all the lessons you had in music and how that got you to where you are at that time. The mark isn't going to change anything. But the lessons that you have with your teachers and the practicing that you do with your self, that's what's going to always make the biggest impact. So this is a really, really crucial time for all of you because, practice is limited. Every single day we live is one less day we get to live, believe it or not. Okay? I often hear students say, well, I'll just do it tomorrow. Well, there's a lot of people who didn't get to do something tomorrow. Okay? It's very sad because they may have gotten COVID and gotten really sick, Or we just heard of the news of these 215 kids, indigenous kids your age, that died in Kamloops, and they didn't get a second chance. They didn't get to do something the next day. They didn't get to live their dreams. And so every single day you have a chance to practice. You should be thankful for that and take that opportunity to use it to get better, okay? Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. How many of you listen to the music that you play? You can just put your hands in the air. How many of you listen to the pieces that your teachers teach you? Okay, just one. How many of you listen to classical music regularly? And I'm not saying like once in a while. I'm saying at least like once a week. Okay? This is a really important thing. Okay, music is it's really crucial to listen to music, because if we don't listen to music, we don't know how to get better, and we don't have an imagination. You know, a lot of kids who play sports, what they do is they watch sports, right? They fall in love with certain athletes because those athletes are really great. They're amazing. And so these kids say, you know, I want to be like the next LeBron James, or I want to be the next, you know, Connor McDavid or whomever. They fall in love with these athletes, and they see how great the athletes are, and they can see what these athletes are doing, and it inspires them. And for us learning music, it's so important to be inspired and to listen to music. Okay? And so one of the exercises we're going to do today is we're going to listen to some music right now, actually. Okay? And I want you guys to continue every single week to find opportunities to listen to music. And the best thing about listening to music and how easy it is that you can just go onto YouTube. It's super, super easy to go onto YouTube to listen to music. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to listen to opera. Okay? I don't know how many of you have listened to opera before, but I love opera. And this is one of the great, great Italian operatic composers, Puccini. And this opera that we're going to listen to is called Turandot. We're not going to listen to the whole thing because it's over 3 hours, and we don't have time for that today. But I want you to listen to some really amazing singing, because I believe it'll inspire you. Turandot is a princess, and she's kind of evil, and a lot of men want to marry her, but to marry her, they have to answer 3 riddles. And no one is able to answer the 3 riddles, except for this unknown prince, okay? Only one person knows his name, and that's himself. His name is Caliph, okay? No one else knows his name. So I'm going to click on Puccini's Turandot here. And this opera, okay, is taking place in a very beautiful town in Italy. This town is called Verona, okay? And I've been to Verona before to watch opera, and I want to show you something here. I ate at a restaurant right here. There's a really amazing restaurant that serves the best, the absolute best seafood pasta. So my friends and I, we went and had dinner there before the opera. I teach in Italy at a music festival. And so one night we took the train from Cremona to Verona, which is 2 hours away, just to watch the opera. And let's continue. And it's going to show you the as it comes through. That this is at the top of the arena. This is an outdoor arena that used to be a Roman Colosseum where they would do gladiator battles. Look how amazing that is. This is Verona. And over here is the stage. Underneath the stage, right there, is where the orchestra is performing. Okay? And right above this A, about here, is where I sat to watch the amazing opera Aida. And my friend and I, who went to watch this, we were just blown away by how amazing it was to watch this opera. Operas are usually done indoors. So I'll just show you a few of the scenes in here so you can see what the people look like, and give us a little tour of the arena. So a lot of people bring binoculars so they can see what the screen is. Lots of cameras to take amazing pictures. People are always dressed up to go to the opera. This is the start of the opera. Okay, so I'm gonna jump forward to this scene here, and the man we have is that's Caliph. That's the unknown prince. And in this scene, what's happening is Turandot has said she doesn't want to marry Caliph. He answered the 3 riddles. And so he said, okay, fine. If you don't want to marry me, I'll give you a deal. If you know my name by morning time, now this is at night, if you can tell me my name by morning time, we don't have to get married, but you can also execute me. You can chop my head off. And so Turandot asks everybody in her land, and she puts a decree, a spell that says no one can go to sleep until she finds out this guy's name. So then he sings about it. And I want you to listen to how beautiful the singing is. And this is what music can do. It creates so many amazing emotions. Listen to how beautiful his voice is, and listen to how beautiful the orchestra sounds here. It's such a emotional and expressive moment. Isn't that amazing? You know how amazing it was? It was such a powerful performance that the audience requested that he sing it again, that aria. Okay? And that's very rare in an opera, that someone can be so emotional and so expressive and connect with the audience. The audience wants to hear it again. You know, it's like when you have a song and you really like it and you just put it on replay because you just want to keep listening to it over and over again. That's exactly what happened there. You want to know what else was really cool? I had a friend who was performing in the orchestra during that performance. One of my friends was a violist, Yasha Zatz, and he was performing during that. And I asked him about this performance, and he said it was just chilling. He said he had goosebumps on his arms from listening to this baritone, this singer. And he said the entire orchestra couldn't believe what had just happened and how emotional that was. And he said it was one of his most memorable performing experiences in his life was during this performance. So this is the power of music. This is what great music can do to people. Okay? And we have to look at what can we do as musicians? What can we do as students to learn to be powerful like that with our music? Not just let's play the notes to pass our exam. No, that's not good enough. Okay? What's more important is that we make an impact with our music and that our audience walks away and says, wow, I am so inspired. One of the things for me as a performer is that I always have emotions in mind of what I would like the audience to feel. When I play certain pieces, okay, there will be times where I say, I really want my audience to cry. There are pieces where I say, I want them to feel pure joy. Sometimes I play a piece and it's all about having them feel intimidated or scared. I play this piece called The Dance of Death by Franz Liszt. And it's all about skeletons and witches and goblins. And in that piece, I try to create like dark spirits and make the music sound very haunted so the audience can feel that sort of Halloweenish type of character. And then I play another piece by a Brazilian composer named Hector Villa-Lobos. And it's got little children's nursery rhymes in there, but the piece is really, really fast. So I want my audience to kind of reminisce and remember what it's like to be a kid and playing on the playground. And then I play this really beautiful nocturne by Chopin. And it's almost like you're lost in your dreams, right? So I want the audience to sit back and close their eyes and just listen to the music and let the music help them get lost in something very pleasant. And that's how I want all of you to think about with your music. It's not just playing the notes and playing the rhythms right and passing the exam. Music is much greater than that. Okay? So I want all of you to listen to music. There's so much music to listen to on YouTube. Okay? And then one other thing that's really going to help all of you when it comes to making music. Okay? And that's looking at beautiful, beautiful art. Okay? And, you know, this is something I wasn't really introduced to until much later in my development. And it wasn't until I started visiting museums that arts really took something, became something very important to my studies. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen again with you. And because of the pandemic, this is one of the great things that we have with the pandemic. Okay? Because we can't go to museums, museums are coming to us. This is one of the great museums in the world, Musée d'Orsay. It's in Paris. Very, very close to the Notre Dame Cathedral. This used to be an old train station. And it is now the world's largest museum when it comes to impressionistic art. So if we're playing pieces like Debussy or Ravel, or any, it doesn't matter, but specifically Debussy and Ravel, it's really good to go and look at this art. And, you can come onto this website and you can view some of the art. That's the cool thing about it. Okay, that tells you what's in their permanent collections, what to do when you want to come and visit. Okay, but you can take virtual tours of this museum and many, many other museums in the world. Okay, and I'd like to do that because it's so important for me just to learn about paintings and to see colors and to see all the different expressions. Okay, so if we go over here, museum and permanent collections, we can click on that. Everything's in French here. And they have little videos that we can watch about the museums. Okay, let's take a look at this one. I haven't seen this one yet. It's not very long. It's probably in French. And that's it. That's the Musée d'Orsay. It's right on the river La Seine. And like I said, it's very close to the Notre Dame Cathedral. That's what it used to look like. It's a train station. And this looks like when they're building the museum, actually, from when it used to be a train station. Yeah, so I think this is what it is. So you can learn so much about music and art by just going online. Okay, and I always ask my students to go and visit museums online and to look for things because most of the pieces that we're playing are coming from Europe. Okay, and so we should go and look and experience and learn about where these composers lived and what influenced them. Okay, what is it, the things that inspired them to do the work, whether it was Bach or Beethoven or Mozart or Chopin? The more we can learn about these composers, the deeper we're going to go into understanding what and how they composed their pieces. Okay, so let's do a little bit of playing now. I have a list of who's performing and what pieces. So first on the list is Maria, who will be performing Bach's C Major Sinfonia from the three-part inventions. So Maria, let's hear the Bach, please. And if you happen to have the music, that would be great, because then you can, for the other three of you, if you happen to have the music, it's fantastic. So then you can follow along and know what we're talking about. So let's spotlight Maria, Natalia, and then you can unmute yourself too, Maria, so that we can hear you perform.
Can I perform with my music?
Yes, if you like. Okay, thank you. Natalia, if you want to spotlight the both of us, then it doesn't go back and forth. Okay, so very nice, Maria. How long have you been working on this piece for?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay. What can you tell me about Bach? Do you know anything about Bach?
It's his music is like mathematic. It's like a lot of like patterns and precise calculations.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's not melodic. I mean, Bach's music is extremely melodic. There's many really beautiful melodies in this piece. What do you know about Bach himself? Do you know where he lived, maybe?
No,
No? Okay. Do you know any other pieces that he may have composed?
pardon?
Do you know any other pieces that he composed? Have you played
No.
other pieces by Bach, maybe?
I think so. I just can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, you see, it's he wrote, in fact, 15 of these three-part sinfonias. He wrote 15 two-part sinfonias. What's a sinfonia, Maria?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you think it's important to know the title of the piece that you're playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sinfonia is something that's is not as descriptive in our English language as perhaps another piece like Playful Puppy, perhaps, right? Or Shooting Stars in the Summer. That gives a little bit more description. So your first assignment is to go and find out what a sinfonia is. Okay? This is from a set of works called the Three-Part Inventions. And obviously one has to think like what is an invention in music? It's not like they're inventing anything. It's not like they invented this thing to sell on Amazon. So what is an invention? Well, an invention is a contrapuntal piece, okay, a work that has three individual lines that needs to mimic one another. Okay, so is this the first time you've heard the word counterpoint or contrapuntal, Maria? Yeah? Okay. So if you take a look at the music here, okay, there's three voices. Okay, here's the first voice. And that's what we would call the soprano voice. Then we have the second voice enter in measure 2, and it plays the exact same thing as the soprano voice. Agreed, Maria? Is it the exact same thing? The difference is that it's been transposed down a perfect fifth. Okay? And then our third voice, well, it's sort of playing in the first two measures. But it takes what we call the subject, okay, the main theme, the main melodic idea, and comes in at measure 3. And you see, here's the thing. That is the melody. That theme is the melody, okay? And you can hear that it's very melodic, especially when we shape it. So I start soft and I build a crescendo up. And I make it very, very elegant. Can you just do that in your right hand? Can you just play the first measure? And can we shape that little scale and make it as musical as possible, please? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Maria. Can you play that?
What? You were lagging, so I couldn't hear anything.
Can you play the right hand first line? Okay, the first measure as musically as possible with crescendos and decrescendos. Yeah, and I would start as soft as possible here. Okay, I wouldn't want to be mezzo piano. I want to start piano because think about how many notes you have to play there. You have like 15 notes to play. Okay, 16 if we count the E. And we need to hear 16 colors there. Okay, it's got to be really beautiful because that's what music is about. We just heard the singer sing this most amazing thing. Bach, by the way, is a vocal composer. Okay, most of the stuff he wrote was for voice, right? He wrote tons of chorales. He wrote tons of church music that was sung. He treated every instrument like it was a voice, like the human was singing. So to say that this is just a bunch of patterns, that's not true. This is real music. This is supposed to be sung. Okay? And he loved cantabile. He loved cantabile sound. So let's try that again. And really make it sound like we're singing the music. Go ahead. Right, now let's go ahead and do the second voice. The second voice comes in at measure 2, and let's do that one. And same thing, real beautiful sound. Go ahead. Good, now let's do the third entry. Right, actually the first G you play doesn't count as part of the entry. Okay, it starts on the off beat, so it doesn't count. We don't count the low G. We start on the second G. Okay, now where's the fourth entry? Where do we hear that same beautiful melody a fourth time? Can you tell me what measure it's in and which hand is playing it?
Left hand, measure 5.
Right. In fact, it's the exact same thing, but now look at what's happened. We first hear it on the G above middle C. Then we hear it on the G below middle C. And then we hear another octave down. Okay. When's the next time we hear it?
Right hand, measure 6.
Left hand, measure 6.
Right hand.
Right hand, measure 6. No, we don't. We hear like part of it maybe, but we don't have the subject there. Okay, we want to hear all 17 of those notes. Where do we see it again show up in the music?
I don't know.
Okay, this is really important for you to find it. Okay, the next time you hear it is right here. Whoops. It's hidden. It's in measure 8. Bach hides it. He's such a good composer at camouflaging and hiding things. So we hear it in the bass, left hand, in measure 8. Okay, he puts it there. Okay, now where's the next place you hear it? Can you see it?
Right hand, measure 10.
Right hand, measure 10. No, it's not there. That doesn't look like it. That's something completely different. The next time we see it is measure 12 in the right hand in soprano voice. It's right here. And then we hear the alto voice in measure 13. And then we hear it in the bass voice right away in measure 14. And then right away again in the bass at 15. And then again right away at measure 16. You see, so he puts it in like right one after another, starting at measure 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then we're going to hear it one more time in the piece at the very end in measure 19 in the bass voice. That melody is so important to bring out and to shape, and we have to find it. You know, Bach is really good at this. He's really good at hiding the melodies, okay? And we have to locate them. And he uses the same idea over and over and over again. In fact, if we count, let's find out how many times he does it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times. Okay? And in this piece, there's only 21 measures. Our melody, our theme shows up 11 times in 21 measures. Okay, Maria? It's really, really important that you ask your teacher about how to find the subject material in Bach, because that's what has to be projected and brought to the forefront in our playing. If we're not bringing that out, then we're not bringing out the ideas that Bach wants us to hear. Okay? Hello? So, I think Maria's frozen there. So it's important, it's very important, Maria, that you're not just playing the notes, that you learn how to play Bach, and you have to ask your teacher, okay, what do I have to do? What are the ideas I need to know on how to play Bach? Okay? And learning how to play with counterpoint and finding the subjects, finding the themes is obviously the very, very first step. It's one of the most important steps that we have to take when it comes to playing this piece. Okay? All right. So thank you. Natalia, if you're there, you can unspotlight Maria and unspotlight me. And we'll move on to the next performer, who is going to be, we have Grace. And Grace is going to play Sarola by Andrea Dow. So go ahead, Grace. Okay, thank you. So Grace, why did you choose to play this piece? Or, you know, when you started to learn this piece, what was it about this piece?
I don't know. I was really passionate. I like how I think it gets louder in measure 12.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just something about this piece that was very moving.
Okay. And when you're playing this piece, what are you trying to do with your audience? Because you are obviously feeling and you're talking about these emotions. How are you trying to bring that out in your performance so that your audience feels it?
I guess the chords in where it starts in measure 12, I guess accent them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? I mean, just accenting them, that's one idea, but there's got to be other things that you can do to help the music.
Following the dynamics, like the written dynamics.
Yeah. And, pacing, right? Like the use of rubato is really important in this piece. Can you start it again from the beginning? Okay. And I would just kind of be a little bit more free. I don't have the music with me, and so I'm just gonna have to teach it from you without looking at any music. But it sounds like the music should have a little bit of rubato at the beginning, a sense of kind of like just movement, kind of like a dreamy character. So maybe just play the first two lines for us. Yeah, see? So be careful there. I wouldn't rush, I would just take my time with that, And be very kind of like dreamy. It's very mysterious. I can imagine like this like I picture this scene where there's a forest and it's not the fog hasn't cleared yet. It looks very misty and it's very quiet. Okay, so let's try that again. Just kind of relax things and be very mysterious. Right, so that spot, you're going. I would just kind of maybe make it the second and third time a little bit softer, bum, bum. And that would help you to, again, bring a little bit more emotion and color to the music. And when you have something that repeats in the music, you don't want to copy it the second time and the third time and keep it the same. You want it to be a lot different. Okay, let's try that again. Right. You see, in this, every time I hear this, that color change is beautiful. It goes D minor to B flat major to A. That like tells me, just to take a little bit more time there as well so that they can hear that nice little change. Because you play the D minor chord like many, many times before there's a change. Okay, so let's try that again. Yeah, see, so there's a change there, this right there when you have the C. And then again, that's another really musical spot. So in this style of music, what you have to look for is where does the music start to change? Okay? Where does the music start to do something different? And that's a really key indicator of an emotional or an expressive change in the music, okay? Because it's there's a contrast, Okay, all of a sudden there's a new sound that comes out of nowhere that has to be projected. Okay, how soft can you play? I imagine that this piece probably has at the beginning it probably says piano or pianissimo, correct?
Mezzo.
Yeah, and I'd actually probably think it would be even softer. I think mezzo piano is being a little bit generous. It makes much more sense to be very, very, very quiet here. Okay, like you're sneaking in, like you're tiptoeing around. Okay, if it's too loud, I think even mezzo piano is a little bit on the loud side. It kind of takes away this sort of mysteriousness away. Okay, let's try it again, even softer, and take advantage of those moments where you can change the color. Yeah, now it's all of a sudden like, something triumphant is about to happen, right? And so I would take a little bit more time to end the previous section. And then this next section, the new section, becomes much more surprising and dramatic. Can you maybe start 3 or 4 measures before the change in character, please? Right. And then see, here's the other thing where I think it's important to start soft, because suddenly out of nowhere you have a forte, right? And now you can play really, really strong. Make sense? Okay? And that contrast has to be developed there. You can't just all of a sudden, or sorry, not all of a sudden, but you can't just do half of the dynamic change. It needs to be really, really dramatic. It has to be really clear. So let's do that again. You're going to end as soft as you can and then surprise us a very sudden and strong forte entry there. Good. That's it. Now, what you want to do here is you want to keep the tempo very, very steady. Tum, bum, ba, da, 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 tum, bum, da, 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 da. You can't, rush, and you can't slow down. Let's start right there and keep a very strong tempo, please. Yeah. And the other thing is, it sounds like it's getting more and more excited. And again, we can't. It's so repetitive, the music, that you can't keep the same dynamic. As it gets more excited, you should get louder. You should get more excited with the music. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's really open up the dynamics, please. Now louder. Yeah, right there. Get louder. Yeah, and then I would, get really soft as you transition to the next section. Okay? Start right there, right here. Okay, good. Now, here can be a little bit warmer. And this is a very stately character. This is very majestic here. Okay? Keep the tempo steady again. Try it. Right, and this sort of theme, bum, ba, dee, again, you're repeating it. You got to do something about it each time. You got to get louder. You got to increase it and make it much more exciting. Right, yeah, because that's what creates the excitement and the energy. Okay, if you keep the colors exactly the same in music, after a while it just becomes repetitive and people lose interest. But when you infuse it with a lot of colors and you change things, right? Then it becomes very different, and people here have a different imagination of what's going to happen in the music. Okay? Now, for example, if I'm playing something like this, gotta get rid of all these cables. It's something very, very dark, and so I want my audience to feel darkness. But if I have something like this, maybe. Something that's very dreamy. Okay, and so I can let the music take its time. I can let the music kind of evolve, right? So that's really important when we're making music, especially in this style that you're playing, that the music now sounds and has this imagination to it, and different colors. It's not just good enough to play the notes correctly. Does that make sense, Grace? Okay, well, good luck with your piece. Thank you very much for participating in the festival and performing today. We'll now move on to the next performer, who is Elaine. And Elaine is going to play Chanson Triste by Kalinikov. And you may go ahead, Elaine. Okay, thank you, Elaine. That's coming along well. Um, what can you tell me, or tell everyone here as well, um, are the emotions in this piece? What are you trying to express in this piece?
I feel like it's very dramatic and sad.
Mm-hmm. How sad is it?
I feel like it's kind of like it's sad at first and then it turns to anger, but then it just like returns back to being very miserable.
Mm-hmm. I really want to know how sad. I mean, is this sadness like, you're sad that summer break is over and you have to go back to school, or is this sadness like you've lost something very important to you? Um, that I think when you have a piece like this that has an extremely descriptive title, chanson triste, you know, a sad song. We have to, as a musician, we have to, as a performer, have an understanding of how deep we're going to go in terms of the sadness. Okay. Um, is this a piece that says that you should be crying when you're performing? What do you think? Like when you hear this piece, does it make you want to cry?
Mm,
For me, it does. When I hear this piece, I think it's very sad. I think it's quite intense. And I feel that if I were to play this and my audience wasn't crying after I was performing it, I don't think I did a good enough job. I don't think I've really thought about how sad it is. And this is really important. We have to find like very sad moments in our lives. We have to find the happy moments. We have to find the dramatic moments. We have to find the humorous ones, the funny moments, and bring it to the music here. Okay? And you play all the notes correctly, but I want to really feel how deep down these emotions are in the piece. That is the most important thing to me in a piece like this. Otherwise, I should just take the word sad and the word triste out of the piece and should just be called a song. Okay? I think there's a lot of sadness in here, probably more than what a lot of people expect in this piece. So let's see. Switch my camera. There we go. For me, there's this, especially in the opening. And you can see I'm just sneaking into the music. I'm not playing anything too loud. I'm keeping it quite soft, and I want the music to sound very, very just tender and in a way painful. So I think you should start the same way. I think you should start soft. Okay, can we try that? Can we try with a little bit of a softer color? Can we try a little bit more painfulness, some crying ideas in the piece, please? Go ahead. Right, that's better. And one of the interesting things here is this piece is written in 5/4. It's not written in 4/4 or 3/4. It's 5/4, and that contributes to this character. So how do we count 5/4, Elaine? How would you count it?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Yes, that's right. And that actually helps to dictate a lot of the rubato that happens in this piece. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. And typically I would take a little bit more time on the back part of the measure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's kind of like where the rubato is built into this piece. So you can take a little bit more time. But again, don't be abrupt, because sometimes I hear you do this. This is measure 12. I heard you do this here. You went. You basically instantly slowed down on those two notes there. And you shouldn't slow down. It should be rubato. It's just a little ritardando. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so don't change the tempo. Now, for some reason, everyone who plays this piece at this measure speeds up. I don't know why. 13 should not speed up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. Everyone speeds up measure 13, and it shouldn't. It should be the same tempo. And then the climax, okay? It's really important, Elaine, that, at the beginning you're very soft. And then here at measure 15 and 16, you just explode with passion. Now I'm going to start to broaden and get bigger. And then right here, really big. Long fermata. Fermata means what? Everyone thinks fermata is like time and a half. And that's not true. Fermata means to stop, means to stop the music. So once I get to this climax and get out of it, stop on the D, stop on the rest. Come in very soft. And how long am I going to stop for? Until the sound disappears. Until I can't hear this forte in my head anymore. So I let that sound in the room disappear. You see, this is part of creating the effect of music. It's not just, again, playing the notes in the right place at the right time. Can you start there, please? Can you start at 13? Keep it in time. A big broadening at measure 15. Huge arrival at 16. And sit on that fermata. And then come in as quietly as you can at measure 17. Go ahead, please. Change the tempo at 16. You can't just slow down at all. That's still in time. So you can't do this. Because now you change the pulse and you change the direction of the piece. Okay? And it's all in time, but it's rubato. You pull back. Pulling back is not slowing down. Okay? So the mistake a lot of students make is they think tempo change is rubato. Rubato isn't tempo change. Rubato is the gentle pushing and pulling of a phrase. Okay? It should not sound like the tempo has changed. Let's try it again at 13. Right, see, that's better. It's much better, and especially you sat on the fermatas a little bit. Those are kind of arbitrary. I'm not going to count those at all, to be quite honest. I'm going to let it go on complete feel and sound in the room. Like, where do I hear things? You know, I played in a church in Italy that was built in the 1400s. And in this church, when you play a note, it echoes for a very long time. And so sometimes when I play in there, I have to really be patient and wait for the sound to stop echoing in the church before I come back in with the next phrase. It's hard. It's hard to wait that long. But you have to do that depending on the room, depending on the piano. And so if I were to play this piece in that church, I can promise you that fermata there is going to be very long, almost way too long. But I have to commit to that when I'm playing. Okay? So that's really crucial. Same thing here at the end. Okay, you have a fermata, right? I would hold this note until the end. And I wouldn't move. I would just hold it. I would hold my audience in suspense because they don't know when I'm going to let go. Now hold. Fermata. Wait for it to end. Don't move. Your fingers are still. Look at my fingers. It's like the art of being a statue. And in music, we want that. Because what happens is that we can hold our audience. Our audience doesn't know when we're going to let go. So they're holding their breath with us while we're holding the note. And then when you move, then they take their big sigh of relief. And they can start to breathe again. And that's what makes music really, really powerful. Okay, thank you very much, Elaine, for performing and participating. And now we will move to our last performer, who is Vera. And Vera has a Kabalevsky etude to perform. So go ahead, Vera. Okay, Vera, nice work. So some very fluid fingers going on in there. Now, what's important, the biggest thing is at the end. You know, you have this really big scale and you get to that last note, and then the last four chords are played so cautiously, right? The double forte extends all the way through the end of the measure. You also have accents on top of those notes, right? So it needs to be played really, really, really strong. Bum, bum, bum. And in fact, you do the opposite. You kind of, and you just kind of become very nice. You become very nice, sorry. Right? So you have all this drama and excitement, and at the end of the piece, it's kind of like nice. We don't want to be nice there. We want to continue to be excited. So could you do the last four measures, please? And when you get to those last four chords, do not be nice. Play them as strong as you can, please. Go ahead. Yeah, can you do me a favor and just play those chords here? Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 with counting, so it's fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, do that again, even stronger. Good. Again. Yeah. Don't be shy about that. Now let's do that again. The last four measures, please. Yeah. So you take the scale, up to an A. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, okay. Let's slow that down. Let's slow that down and don't do a retardando to the A. You got to get right up to that A. Don't be afraid. Go to that note. But just do it slowly, please. Good job again. Let's do that again. Don't slow down. Got to get to there. Yeah, the ending should be quite in time. It shouldn't feel like you need to slow down, because when you do, you take all the energy away. You take all of the excitement that's being built up in the piece right away at the end. Let's do that again. Last 4 measures about this tempo. Dum, dum, dum. But keep it steady to the end. But don't be, you're still too nice with these chords. Dum, bum, bing, bum. Okay? Do this. I want you to play, don't even play a chord. Okay? I want you to play 5 really big sounds, and all you need to do, okay, is to drop your hands on the piano and do this. Okay? Just go ahead and do that. Okay? I want you to play that strong, though, because that's the effect that we want on those last 4 chords. Good. Now do it with a crescendo, so the last chord is the loudest one. Good. Now do exactly what's written there. Play the correct notes, but in the same thing. Strong sound, big crescendo. Good. Again, even louder. Okay, now add the 2 measures right before that. Yes, that's better. And see, that's the character of the piece, is there's all this excitement that needs to be powered through, right? All the way through. Now, take a look at the music. This is really important. Okay? I'm going to play it very slowly for you. Look what happens here. We're going to start at the beginning. Right? So I'm starting soft. And I'm getting louder and then back down. Again. I think it's so important that we do exactly what Kabalevsky tells us to do. We need to hear these crescendos and decrescendos in the music very, very dramatically. Can you just do the right hand, please, slowly from the beginning? And we want to hear every single note with a crescendo or decrescendo. No. Too fast. Look, listen. Wait. Look how slow I'm going. You have to go slow. We all have to practice slow to work out the dynamics so we can hear it, and we can also tell ourselves about it. We can't just play fast and hope that the things will work out. Slow, because our mind needs to instruct our fingers, and we got to be able to hear. Go ahead. Da, 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 da. Okay, good. Now, okay, just wait. Okay, Vera. Yeah. Now, you have to ask yourself, and we all have to ask ourselves when we're practicing. We have to be honest. Did we play soft enough? Did we play loud enough? That's so important in what we do. We have to always be honest. You have to use your ear. What do you think? Do you think you played soft enough?
No.
Okay, so let's try that again, and let's really ask ourselves to play as soft as possible. Let's tell ourselves. Let's expect that we can play softer. Go ahead. Yep, yep, yeah. Okay, you see, so look, this is important. We have three measures of the exact same dynamic thing. Up and down, up and down, up and down. It cannot sound the same. We said that earlier in Grace's piece too. So the only way, again, is you're going to have to go even slower. It doesn't matter that the piece is going to be performed fast. We're just practicing here. So I would practice very slow and listen to make sure that... Okay, so there's a crescendo and decrescendo. Now I'm going to make it different this time. And I'm going to make it different again. Keep that soft. Now I'm a crescendo here. And more. You see, so I'm going very, very slow to make sure that I can hear those dynamics, okay? You try that, please. You have to be very patient, and you have to trust the process of going slowly. Yeah, see, stop. You see, so you're going too fast again. You made a little mistake, right? That's why it's important to develop good habits in our practice and to be very patient with things. Let's try that again, even slower. I don't think you're slow enough to make a big difference in your dynamics. But don't rush there, right? Don't speed up all of a sudden and measure 5. So a lot of what we do in our practice has to come down to what we want the music to sound like, okay? And then we have to instruct our fingers to do it that way. And it's crucial in pieces that we are always following what the composer is doing. So we see a crescendo, decrescendo. Our thought process should be, okay, how soft do I start and how loud do I get? Then the next thing is you have to use your ears and you have to say, okay, did I do it? Did I get soft enough? Did I get loud enough? So if we are not telling ourselves and asking ourselves what to do in terms of those dynamics and being honest, then what is the practicing that we're doing? What's the result? Well, it's really hard to say because we're not paying attention to exactly what needs to be done. Okay? Thank you, Vera, for playing today and participating in the festival. It was nice to meet all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to just put something in the chat window here. Oh, this chat has been disabled. And
Oh, oops.
see if it can be. Oh, there we go. This is a recording. Okay, like I started the whole session off today was you guys need to listen to more music. This is a recording I did of 4 Chopin mazurkas. I want you to listen to it. What I also did is I put the music there so you can follow along with the music. And this is one of the best ways, like I said earlier, to learn music is to listen to what other people do, and to really be inspired by artists out there. And there's so many opportunities. So listen to this, please, and you'll hear different characters, you'll hear different emotions in the music. And every time you listen to music, kind of ask yourself that question. What do I hear? Do I hear someone crying? Do I hear someone very happy? Do I hear something angry? And start to discover what the possibilities of music are. If we listen to music, our imagination for producing colors and emotions is going to increase. And then we're going to start to find that in our own music. That's why I listen to a lot of music, is because I'm still learning the possibilities of what music can sound like. I'm still learning what colors are available, or how to produce certain colors, or how to create different effects into the music. So my encouragement to all of you is to continue with your practice. Be really careful with the details in the music, and of course, listen to as much as music as you can. So have a great weekend. Good luck to all of you with your music studies, and I hope to hear you guys again down the road.
So yeah, just want to say a huge thank you to you, Derek. That was just a wonderful Saturday afternoon. And thank you to all of you lovely performers. Good luck with your studies. And yeah, like he said, keep listening and keep playing. So thank you again. All right. Good day.